Hello, welcome to TableDropZone. My name is Lok.
And my name is Holger, and I have no sign to point to. So look, what do we love more than minis?
It's a minis.
Minis. So the big elephant in the room, Imperialis, is out. Epic Scale is back. And we will buy it as soon as we have space. But as you can see, we are still not in a new studio.
But we have some new idea with how we play them, not only for that game, but also for our favorite game, Battletech.
Let us show you what we mean. By the way, we are not sponsored by Games Workshop.
Battletech always has one problem since we start playing the game, is the terrain.
Getting quality terrain, getting terrain in general. I mean, we have Hextech, and guys, we absolutely love you. There is tons of STLs that you can print or get printed, but to find like this you know, kind of well-matching all-around thing that just fits, that just works, it will be a matter of a lot of research, of a lot of digging around, of a lot of compromises. There's no such thing as going into a store like you would, like Warhammer players do. Buy a box, go home and have a set table, right? This sadly, up until now, did not exist for Battletech, at least not to that degree. I mean, this is the closest we got. Or, of course, the only official terrain that Catalyst ever brought out are these cardboard boxes. They're okay, right? They fit the purpose, but great it is not.
However, Imperialis may solve the problem. And you can see that the scale of Battletech and Imperialis is quite similar. That means that maybe the terrain can fit the both game too. And you know that the Warhammer community is huge. That means there's so many support, not only from the community, but also from the company Game Workshop to create more and more things with the terrain, how to build them up, how to paint them. A lot of support from both community and the company. And actually, it's not the new idea from the Game Workshop. You can see that it came out with Titanicus, the terrain quite similar.
Yeah, but Titanicus is kind of, I'm not hearing much about it anymore. So I'm not going to say it's vanishing, but it's kind of fading away, and you can't even buy the terrain anymore from the official shops. You can still find on eBay. There's some suppliers, maybe some friendly local game stores that still have parts of it. But I feel like Titanicus is kind of not really out there anymore. However, Imperialis sure has the means to potentially stay around for quite a bit, because it has been there before, and this is now obviously a try. That's why they first went with 30k and not with 40k. Yeah, there are means to this. Now, the big issue here is that, of course, Warhammer and Battletech are very different in tone and in look and feel. Right? Warhammer is all this neo-Gothic, industrialized, dark, gritty environment, and Battletech is like straight lines, slick sci-fi for the most part. Well, for the most part, right? I mean, for one, this should, I feel, not really disturb or distract us from using the terrain, because already with painting you can do a lot.
Yeah.
And if you look on a couple of book covers, etc., there are great influences from other types of architecture as well in the Battletech universe. So it's not fully unthinkable that a Gothic city could exist in Battletech. Let's focus on this for a bit. Could you use Warhammer terrain in its Gothic style in Battletech? I say yes.
Yeah, look at the picture that we show you here about the Battletech. It brings the atmosphere of Warhammer when with the big gate like this with a straight line and also the color. It really has the atmosphere of Warhammer too.
Yeah, and if you look at this kind of architecture, I mean, for one, of course, it would be the Space Germans that have a ceremony like this in the cathedral. But these cathedrals or something similar exists. I mean, if you look at Notre Dame, if you look at the dome in Cologne in Germany, and if you know, they have something like this on the inside, not as slick, but it's there, like these big archways, these slim, long pillars. It's all there. And if you look at them from the outside, I'm going to put the pictures here on Wikipedia. Well, I mean, this is Warhammery. And Warhammery is now a word. On the other side, I found this wonderful picture on Sana from the Free Worlds League, from the assembly of the Free Worlds League. And if you look at it, what does it remind you of?
There's so many architecture like that in Europe. Yeah.
One that I really had to think about because I had been there is the big ceremony hall in the University of Vienna. If you see this, I mean, it's very similar. Very similar. And if we look at what the University of Vienna looks from the outside, well, you have a very Warhammery building. So with that said, you can see that with the proper paint, with the proper colors, it will fit into the Battletech universe greatly. I mean, maybe not all of it, but some of it at least. And especially if we look at what the box looks like with the not broken terrain.
So you can see that like the good part of Warhammer, the model and the terrain is that you can like just remove part of the terrain and build it up by your need. For example, you see the big kind of building here with a little bit like shop like this. But if you remove that, so you can see that it can totally fit for Battletech, and the mech can just like standing in the top of the building.
It's all modular terrain. You can make what you like. You can make it fully boxy. You can make it fully church dome. Fully up to you. And you can leave away what you feel doesn't fit. And if that's not enough, you can still kit bash. This is plastic. It's not brittle 3D printing resin, so you can cut away happily, go ahead and chop. Or you can just leave parts completely away that you don't want, and the rest you can really do with proper painting, proper dry brushing, and proper highlighting of certain parts, and will probably look the part.
So now let's look at the official Warhammer terrain of Imperialis. First, let's talk about the scattered terrain. It look like a rubber and maybe the difficult underground, and it will fit perfectly for Battletech. That area in the battlefield that lower the speed of the mech.
Yeah.
So both of them fit together.
Exactly. So this fully broken stuff, there's nothing Warhammery about anymore. This you can really use in any game that has this kind of rule set, and it will work. But also for the parts of the building, since it's already broken, go ahead and cut away more. Nothing is stopping you, and you can make it even more broken. And if you don't like the windows, cut out the windows, then you have Battletech terrain, right? So here you can really get creative with what's there. And if you don't want to get creative with what's there, then what is already there is still good. I mean, this box for sure is something that you will want to look at least for ideas. For your next Battletech table setup.
And up next, maybe the most important thing is about the floor tiles. It's very neutral that you can use for both Battletech and Warhammer.
And you can puzzle them together and they will never look out of place. And the big problem that we always had with Battletech is of course the battle mat. Now this one you see here, it fits because it's super neutral, but there's still some things like big areas where if you look closely, then it would really look like those are gigantic rocks in comparison. Still, the moment you have streets or other things on the battle table, it will start to look a little bit out of place because the street would be extremely large, or the mech super small, and it just doesn't fit anymore. Or like if big tracks or something on the playing field, there's a bit of suspension of disbelief you have to cover here. But with this stuff, this is meant for that scale, and you can puzzle it in any way, shape, or form you like. So if you have a city battle, then this is perfect for Battletech.
And moreover, the industrial terrain from Titanicus, we hope that Game Workshop will release it in the future.
They said in a post in July on Warhammer Community, they said that they are going to re-release it. And if you look at it,
it looks so beautiful and fit perfectly for the Battletech. You see the different layer of the building where the mech can stand on that part.
And it's fully modular. You can rearrange it the way you want it. And I'm gonna be honest, like this to me looks like a mech factory with a little bit of extra chains on it, right? And with a proper paint job, with a proper, you know, putting things together, this would absolutely fit 100% into a Battletech universe. So to me, this one would be, I still hope they're going to re-release it soon, but I mean, this will fit, definitely.
Yeah, so for the part of the terrain tutorial, you know that like Warhammer has a very huge community and also a lot of like creators on the internet. So with the new release of the Imperialis, then many you can have you can get a lot of support from the community, how to build them up and how to paint them, and a lot of support will come in with that box, so it can help you bring a lot of idea how to build your terrain for the Battletech game.
Yeah, so now you have the scale and you have the ideas and many things will fit. You already see a ton of videos if you look at Imperialis terrain, especially from the crafting channels. They do an amazing job at maybe using parts of the official terrain and putting them into new context, or building something completely from scratch on the scale that you will need for Battletech. So this is absolutely fantastic for us, that we now get a gigantic slew of new content where we will for sure find at least inspiration, maybe even very easy to follow guides or concepts to at least enrich what we have on the table. Mostly for Alpha Strike, right? Because the hexes are missing. But I think this is anyway going to be the first step only, right? You can always reshape things afterwards. Yeah, and then there's of course the thing with other creators, right? There's going to be third parties, there's going to be smaller artists on Etsy and other shops like that want a piece of this pie, and this pie has currently a lot of pieces to give. And the more popular it gets, the more pieces there are. And that means we will get, if Imperialis is successful and continues, we will get more terrain on the scale that we need. I mean, for 3D printing, you can always downscale it, but for finished boxes of terrain that you can buy in the store, you will want the proper scaling, right? So this is, of course, a huge deal and very, very important.
Next, let's look at the additional unit like tanks and planes. And you can see that like all the tanks of Warhammer is quite huge for Battletech. Maybe we cannot use them for the Battletech, but for the small plane, many of the plane of Warhammer is a very good size to use in the Battletech. And with the successful Kickstarter of Battletech mercenary, we can expect that in the future we can get very good tank and terrain in very near future.
Yeah, so this is not really a big concern for Battletech fans. For one, you can still buy the old tanks and planes on eBay, etc. for a decent price. But if you want something new, maybe something a little bit, you know, out there, because all Warhammer stuff is out there, very out there, then these are interesting options. And yeah, for example, the planes you see on screen, these are about the size of a big bomber in Battletech, and they would do the job, right? They would somewhat fit the setting, in a way if you paint them in that way. And of course, I mean, for the tanks, there are some very small tanks that maybe fit better. It look like huge tanks in Battletech, but again, this is more if you want additional stuff, then Imperialis maybe also has something you can consider.
So as you can see, with all the information we gave you today, I think that the new box of Imperialis will be very interesting for you to look at, to build up the new terrain for Battletech game.
Yes, and I absolutely did not want to make this video just to persuade Locke that we can buy Imperialis. No, that said, we hope at least we could give you some ideas or motivation to look at some of the YouTube channels regarding Warhammer Imperialis. There is fantastic content out there. I've been watching it like in every 3 minutes I had for the past weeks, and I can truly say that a lot of the stuff is really, really good also for fans of Battletech that want to only play Battletech. With that said, we've reached the end of the video. We hope you liked it. Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. You know, the usual stuff that all YouTubers say.
Yeah.
Subscribing really helps us if you want to see more of our content.
Thank you so much, and see you on the next video.
Absolutely. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.